Hello guys, and it seems okay. Now I'm just gonna do the pixel refresh. Now my monitor, which is an OLED one, needs to do the pixel refresh now. Now that I'm live, yeah, it does the pixel refresh, but I guess I'll read the comments on my smartphone. It only takes a bit, and now I, I have that one as well. So, now my monitor, which is an OLED one. Yeah, in every single one of my live streams, something happens. Really, there's not a single live stream where something goes fine and dandy for the first time. There's always something shitty happening on my live streams. I don't really know why, but it is what it is, I guess. It's my something. I don't even know the English word for that. And yeah, it's like 2:30 a.m. here, and I'm really tired, and I'm still kind of sick. So yeah, great. Welcome back for you guys too. Watch a 12 gigabytes card for $700. Well, we had a 12 gigabytes card for like $900, and it was called 4070 Ti. Oh my goodness. So yeah, 1 a.m. or so in Portugal. Yeah, 2 a.m. 2 a.m. in Portugal. Bro, what are we going to do? How exactly? 3 a.m. here. You guys are crazy. I mean, this is my work, so and still I have to work, and I have to wake up early tomorrow or today, since I have some people actually the guys that actually install the Windows. They are not Windows, the Microsoft Windows, but real Windows, aluminum Windows, and they are bringing new Windows to put in my studio and on my bedroom as well. So yeah, I need to wake up early because they will be here at 9 a.m. or something. Yeah, you guys can ask the questions that you want to. So I know your live is for NVIDIA CES, but can I ask you what do you know? What techno? What techno is? You know what techno? What do you mean by what techno is for RDNA 4? It's 5 a.m. here, and you guys are awake. Jesus Christ. 7 p.m. Yeah, 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. is quite fine, but like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. You guys are crazy. 4 a.m. and you guys are still wake up watching this. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of my job, of course. So I'm doing it. But if it wasn't, I would surely not be doing it. Just letting you know. That's like certain. And the monitor is still doing the pixel refreshing. I mean, it's 42 inches, 4K, it has a lot of pixels, so I believe it will take a while. But it will be done. 4 a.m., 5 a.m. You're from Vietnam. That's crazy. I mean, things like FSR4, FMF, and things like that. What do you want to know? Now, I can tell you right away that FSR4 is now built for RDNA 4, of course, and the upgradable path is only for RDNA 4. But according to what Hardware Unboxed asked AMD, they told them that they are still kind of talking about the performance impact on the previous AMD cards to see if they really bring it to the older AMD cards or not. But I mean, we have XeSS. And XeSS works like the DP4A. It works on AMD cards. Of course, it doesn't perform as well as FSR, but it does work on AMD cards. And if people are still using XeSS over FSR on AMD cards, and the performance impact is way bigger, I believe that having FSR 4 with a way bigger performance impact is quite okay as well. But I don't really know what AMD is thinking, so yeah. If Nvidia doesn't show the 5000 series, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be mad, really mad, for being awake for nothing. Bets on the 9070 XT being slightly better than the 7900 XT, and for $500, That would be pretty damn good, emo. I believe they will release it at like $600, like $599. And yeah, it will be, in terms of rasterization, it will be close. But according to AMD, they told some people that were physically at CES 2025, and then told them that they would be that, of course, the ray tracing performance, they built the thing from ground up, and ray tracing performance would improve dramatically compared to RDNA 3. Oh, and my monitor is back. That's what they said. They said that it would improve dramatically, so let's wait and see. And I mean, when they say dramatically, we're talking about a lot of performance difference. So I believe that a 60 compute units GPU like the 9070 XT could in fact beat the 84 compute units of the 7900 XT in terms of ray tracing as well. So yeah. Okay, now I can read the comments from my computer. How much do you think the 9070 XT cards should retail for to be actually competitive in the current market? Well, we have RDNA 3, we have previous generations, we have RTX 4000 as well, and I believe that maybe the DLSS 4 will be a solo thing for the RTX 5000 too, but I don't really know. But I believe that the card should be like 550 at tops. But knowing AMD, they will wait for NVIDIA's pricing, and NVIDIA's pricing will be insane, so they will make it like $650 or $700 if they're crazy enough. I don't really know. So it's not Kazetsu. So it's not really a problem if I bought a 7900 XT recently. No, you'll most likely get FSR4 in the later run as well. Like the same they did with AFMF. They were telling people that, well, the performance impact was greater on the older GPUs, in this case RDNA 2, and people complained and they brought AFMF to RDNA 2 and it just works fine. And yet they were complaining it was the performance. It isn't the performance. It isn't the performance, and the same goes for RDNA 3. If people still get a performance boost with good image quality, they'll take it. So yeah. If the 580 16 gigabytes for around $1,200, it's going to be rough staying on the AMD side. I mean, it kind of depends. It kind of depends, because if you want a high-tier GPU, then of course it will be rough staying on the AMD side nonetheless. But if you're looking for a mid-tier GPU that still performs great, then the AMD side is the way to go. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. So let's go to YouTube. Let's go to the 18 minutes. There are no bad cards, just poorly priced ones. Exactly what John Wick Boomstick is saying. There are no bad products, just bad prices. If the cards aren't that great, well, they just need to go and, just price it lower, and people will still buy it. The same goes for the Intel cards. The Intel cards have huge problems like the CPU overhead, and they always had. People are making a fuzz out of it, but it was always like this. Like, I mean, literally, always. The previous GPUs also had the same problem, the Alchemist GPUs. These new ones also have the same problem, especially in some games where they work very, very poorly, like Call of Duty and some others. The Battle Mage GPUs, the B580 for example, it got fixed in several scenarios and it works much better than the Alchemist GPUs, but still, it has issues, and still, if they had proper support or if they had proper stock, people would still buy them. But again, Intel is being dumb, like AMD is being dumb right now, and for example, things like record and streaming features were taken away from the software. I mean, you have an Intel graphics software and you don't really have, at least, I'm not even talking about streaming, but at least, of course, at least the option to kind of record your gameplays. I mean, just go there, record your gameplays like you have on the AMD and on the NVIDIA side. It makes sense. AMD PC builders community with no number, how anyone can say this? Rotful. Well, without no number about what? Exactly, I wasn't following. Big Daddy Jensen. Yeah, your B580 works great with a 12600K. Yeah, it works fine. It works fine. I'm not complaining, of course. But it just doesn't work as fine as it would work with a higher tier GPU, and I know that for a fact. But yeah, it should work decently. Yeah. I'm currently testing the B580, and I already finished testing the B580. I finished testing the 7600 XT, and I'm currently testing the 6750 XT, and I will compare these three cards. We have really interesting results, and the B580 is actually quite good in terms of ray tracing. And I believe Intel didn't quit the GPU market because they know ray tracing is the future, and they have very good ray tracing performance. So they're like, well, let's keep doing some GPUs, because when the games all start getting ray traced wise, every single game, we are going to have our chance. And I believe that's what they're thinking, because in terms of ray tracing and path tracing, the Intel GPUs work very well, actually. Fabio Pisco, how do you get such a beautiful and glowing skin? Also, is graphics card worth in 2025? Well, as for my skin, I use some things, but I believe it's just lighting, actually. But, well, I'm 31 years old. I'm not getting any younger, but yeah. As for the graphics, yeah, they will be worth it. It all depends to the price that you want to spend, I guess. RDNA 5 roadmap is 2026 or 2027. Yeah, I believe that RDNA 5 will be 2026, and for one reason only. Maybe mid or the end of 2026, but I believe it will still be 2026, because they are kind of putting more time on RDNA 5 or UDNA. They are putting more time on those architectures because they don't really need to put as much time on RDNA 4 as they did with RDNA 3. RDNA 4 is monolithic die, so they aren't using multi-chip module, which means that in terms of drivers, game optimization and so on, it will be much better for them because they have lower latency since they don't have MCM design, in terms of power draw as well. So it's a win-win situation for them, and since they're not putting that much time on RDNA 4, they have way more time to put on RDNA 5, and I believe that RDNA 5 will be mid-2026 or something like that, yeah. Bro, how did you get the 7600X 3D? Can't buy it outside Germany. Are you German? Regards from Coimbra. Yeah, I'm not German, I'm Portuguese, of course. I got the 7600X 3D because AMD sent me one. I was at Gamescom 2024 Germany, and I actually talked to some people from AMD, and I asked them the same question. Well, but I'm from Portugal, how can I get one for testing? And they sent me one. But I believe that you can get it in Mind Factory, or you can get it in some websites. Some Portuguese websites have the CPU. Really hard to get, but they have. I believe that some of them had like the same ones that have the 7500F that isn't presented in most websites. Some of them do have. Yeah. Should I wait for the 9070 XT or get the 7900 XT now? For the price the 7900 XT is now around $600, I highly advise you to wait for the 9070 XT, because out of the box you'll have FSR 4 support, and you can upgrade your games with FSR 3.1 to FSR 4. You'll have lower power consumption, you'll have equal rasterization performance, and you'll have much better, or at least considerably better, ray tracing performance. Of that I'm sure. Are you confident in the B580 results to expect Intel to output a 4090, 590 competitor? Yeah, not really. Not really in this generation, but Intel can actually bring some really good GPUs in, let's say, in like 3 generations. If they keep the grinding with their ray tracing performance, because believe me, in the tier that they bring, the B580, in terms of ray tracing performance, it is sometimes even better than the 4060, and I can tell it right away. Intel GPUs work very, very good in terms of ray tracing. They have way many issues, of course, but in terms of ray tracing, they work very, very well. So that's a big plus. So power consumption is very, very low on the B580, and in terms of ray tracing and path tracing, they work very well. So that's a plus, I guess. DLSS 4 must be available for 4000 series. Yes, it should. Will it be? I don't really know. What is DLSS 4 after all? It is just like we had with the DLSS 3 with frame generation. Does it bring better upscaling only? Does it bring new things? We had ray reconstruction before, so is DLSS 4 something added to the DLSS 3? Like maybe frame generation, ray reconstruction, and something else? We don't really know. We need to wait and see. If you were to start all over again a channel, would you still do it in English? Don't you think Portuguese YouTuber market is low? Yeah, I actually like to speak English, and most of the things that I watch are in English. Most of the things that I write are in English. So yeah, I've been improving my English capabilities for quite some time. I mean, it's almost like 80 years, 8 years that I have this channel. And I really wanted to do one channel in Portuguese as well, but I don't really have time. I wish that I had, if I had more people working with me, but since I work at home, I don't trust anyone to work with me. And my brother is still helping me from time to time, but not entirely, at least for now. And things, well, I don't really have enough time to do it, just that. It's a matter of time and workforce, I guess. Why doesn't NVIDIA have more VRAM on the 5060, 5070 for AI use cases? Because they don't need to. If you want AI, you just go to another card and you pay more for it. That's why they don't really need it. Did AMD give you any date on when reviews will be available for RDNA 4? Well, no. They don't even have a date for review samples, so they are still, I believe that they're still figuring it out, and that's why they said Q1. And Q1, I believe it's till the end of March. So maybe we're going to see some information in the next couple of weeks, yeah. Maybe some leaked benchmarks here and there with unofficial drivers that will have lower performance, but yeah, maybe we'll see some of those, and maybe again, maybe in like 1 month and a half we'll have these GPUs, but I don't think it will be, yeah, I don't really think it will be sooner than that. Absolutely, 580 will be equal to 40. Jesus, my English level is just going down the drain. Absolutely, Zach saying 580 will be equal to 4090. At least it should. At least it should. Hopefully 570 is like 589 US dollars. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. 9800X 3D stock on Amazon right now. It is worth to upgrade coming from a 7600X and 7900X T. Worth it. It depends. If you're playing lots of games, like lots of, let's say, competitive shooters, lots of games that require high FPS numbers in that scenario, or if you're playing games and you're seeing your GPU usage low, in that case scenario, and again, resolution doesn't matter, all it matters is the FPS output you want, because you can use a higher resolution, but you're using, for example, FSR, or you're using XeSS, which makes the render resolution lower. You can use lower settings, and then it will make the GPU output more FPS, which will force the CPU to also render more FPS, and so on. What I mean is, if you're playing games that need a lot of FPS and you need and want those FPS, the 9800X 3D is considerably faster. Watch the video that I just made on the 7600X versus the 7600X 3D, and only going for the 7600X 3D provides up to 30% more performance in some games. So the 9800X 3D is definitely, yeah, a sure win, I would say. John Wick Boomstick, keep the performance videos, brother. Thank you very much for the donation. Thank you very much for watching, as always. It's very important to me. I mean, people keep calling me biased and fanboy, and I don't really know why. I have lots of videos, for example, on the NVIDIA side, on the Intel side, and I just say what I feel. I say like, well, if this GPU is good, I say it's good. If I believe this GPU is bad, I say it's bad. It doesn't really matter if it is from AMD, Intel, NVIDIA. It doesn't really matter. There are several videos where I advise AMD over NVIDIA. There are several other videos where I advise NVIDIA over AMD. And there are several other videos where I advise, for example, there was one video where I advised the A770 over, for example, the 7600. By the time I was testing, no, over the 6650 XT, because by the time they were priced roughly the same, the A770 in some games performed well, but again, it's just a matter of preference overall. Again, AMD stated that they are still figuring out the performance the performance of FSR 4 on older generation GPUs. That's why. But I'm pretty sure, and call me crazy, I'm pretty sure that FSR 4 will come to RDNA 3. It might take a while, of course, but it will come to RDNA 3, hands down. At least to the higher tier GPUs. That's a given. Sorry about this. Again, I'm still kind of sick. And yeah, you guys are waiting for the Intel B770. I would like to see it as well, but I guess we won't see any. But I would like to see it actually, especially in terms of ray tracing, since the B580 is already pretty nice in ray tracing and it has a low amount of XE cores. I believe. Oh, it's already starting. Oh, it's not starting. Yeah, it scared me out for a moment. We still have 5 minutes. Yeah, though, the whole world is watching Jensen's next move because they are doing, like AMD, they did the CES presentation for the investors, and NVIDIA will most likely do the same. RTX 590 about to be $3,000. No, seriously, guys, I really hope, and NVIDIA has been quite nice on that regard as well. AMD has sent me lots of GPUs, so I want to thank AMD. NVIDIA also sent me a lot of GPUs. For example, they sent me all the other GPUs that I didn't buy, like the 46 TTI, 16 gigabytes, 4070 Ti Super, 4080 Super, 4070 Super. They sent me quite a lot of GPUs, some that I advise, some that I do not. The 4080 Super, they did not send me the 4090, but they tried to get a sample, but they didn't get one. So I do hope that they send me like a 580 or something, because I'm not seeing myself spending like $1,200, especially since I now have a new house. I have lots of expenses and I'm not rich, as you know. But yeah, I'm not seeing myself spending like $1,200 or more to get a GPU just to stay there, or to I don't really know. I guess I can get one. But that's about it, not all. If they send more GPUs, if they can send them, great. Because even tomorrow I'll have to spend like 1,700 euros for 4 windows, 3 of them to my studio, 1 to my bedroom. So yeah, money isn't growing. Do you send back these GPUs back to NVIDIA? No, I do not send them. That's one of the things that I said. If you can send me the GPU to keep, I will gladly do it. I will just accept it. Thank you very much. Because later I might want to do retests like I'm doing right now. I might, and I just want to have the GPU there. And I'm not going to sell it because I never sell my GPUs, never. Like I did that once, and I still regret to this day. And again, I'm not sending back the GPUs. If they are really sending them to get them back, most times I just don't accept, because I want to have the GPU there in order to retest, do more tests later, and so on, so on, so on. And both AMD and NVIDIA just let me keep the GPUs. Yeah, most of them, at least. Most of them. Still going. You deserve the 590. We deserve nothing. Really, we deserve nothing. We need to earn it. We don't really deserve anything. And even in terms of earning, NVIDIA is not... I'm not entitled of anything. NVIDIA does not have to send anything, and the same goes for AMD. I'm really, really eager to test those cards, and I think that they will send those, and I thank them for that. I met some people from NVIDIA personally when I went to Gamescom 2024 in Germany. I met some AMD people personally as well, and they were very kind, very nice guys, both from the NVIDIA side and AMD side. I met some developers that were on the NVIDIA booth as well. It was a nice experience, and all I can say is that I work my ass off here. I love what I do, and if they can send me things to test, great, why not? So let's read some more comments. DLSS 4 will be bound to 5000 series, and 580 will be priced higher than the 4090 because DLSS 4 is a selling point. Maybe. Fabio, do you think there will be water versions of the 9070 XT like Power Color Liquid Devil? There might be for some extreme overclocking, but I believe that the power roof of these cards is way lower even than the 7900 XT. So there won't be a need for liquid cooling version unless you're going for really an extreme overclocking. Almost there, I guess. So did AMD and NVIDIA send their reference card or one from the AIBs? Most things that I receive are from AMD and NVIDIA directly, not from AIBs. AIBs don't really care about me. Sapphire doesn't care about me. MSI talks to me like one time every 2 or 3 months. For example, they sent me an email. I answered the email like 1 or 2 days after, and up to this day they didn't answer like over a month ago. And that's how MSI works. The same goes for other companies. ASRock sent me the 6750 XT, great card, the Phantom, and they sent me a motherboard that I'm still using right now on this PC. Great, the V600E Taichi, great motherboard. And they then kind of I don't really know how should I call it, but they kind of, it's not kind of a shadow ban, but they kind of did it. They stopped answering, and yeah, so they don't really want things with me. Power Caller the same, they just want to send GPUs and then I have to send them back, and yeah, things go on and on and on and on. But yeah, as for those cards, yeah, they are sent by them directly, and sometimes, not always, I have some cards from AIB vendors. For example, I remember one time that AMD sent me the Sapphire card, and there was another time where NVIDIA sent some MSI cards as well. Are these conferences fun? Well, I wouldn't say fun, but they are interesting to some extent. It's time. It's almost there, guys. It's almost starting. I guess I'm gonna put the headphones. Then I'm gonna be with you guys watching this, and then I'll go to sleep, I guess. And of course, even having 500 people here by the time this is happening, it is actually quite cool. It is actually quite cool because it's late for most people. For most of my watchers, it is quite late, and most of my viewers prefer the AMD side. So having 500 people or maybe close to 600 people watching it, it's pretty neat, actually. Thank you for being here. Do we have more things? More questions? The pricing will be egregious. Oh, there are lots of messages. What time it is there? It's like 2:30 p.m. 2:30 a.m. not p.m. Lol. Nuni the King, és o maior, caralho. Basically, translating it, you're the best. And then we have caralho, which is a common thing that we use in Portuguese, like motherfucker, but in a good sense. I have to work in 4 hours. Yeah, I have to wake up in like 4 or 5 hours too, due to the guys putting the Windows here. What browser is that? It's Brave browser. So it is it starting or not really? Sorry about the coughing. Like I told you, I'm still quite sick. John Wick Boomstick, hit the like button, folks. Yes, hit the like button. Help the channel perform. That's really helpful, guys. And in a couple of days, like tomorrow maybe, you'll have the lossless scaling video that I'll release tomorrow, like today, the 6th, the 7th, my bad. And in the 8th, you'll most likely have the GPU comparison of that cards. Whoa, swearing benchmark. Yeah, that's me. 70,000 people watching. That's great. Not on my stream, of course. That would be insane. 600 people on my stream is actually quite nice. On the AMD event, since it was way earlier, I had up to like 2,000 people, but that's normal. Thank you all, guys. Yeah, 3:32 in Switzerland. I hate US time. I feel you, guys. I feel you. So, yeah, in France as well. It's 1 hour over. Nah, bro, don't say sorry about coughing. Hope you'll get better soon. I hope to get better soon as well. Chat, I sold my first kidney for the 4090. Should I sell the second one for the 590? Absolutely, do it. Just do it, and you'll find yourself with lots of 590s in heaven. What's your stream GPU? I'm currently streaming with a 7800 XT, I believe. It's the 7800 XT. Let me just check it out. Yeah, the 7800 XT, completely fine. People saying that they can't stream with AMD GPUs, they just don't really know what they're doing. I've been streaming with AMD GPUs for a long time. It just works. So do you think it will be as bad as AMD's event? I hope not. I really hope not. I hope this isn't an event, a keynote for developers and investors only, but also for gamers and common user, for the common user as well. There is an update from AMD why there was no info on RDNA 4 and FSR 4 on Tom's hardware. Exactly. I heard that, I read that, and that's what I'm saying. They are basically caring about the performance. Yeah, the performance impact. But that, for me, that's bollocks. They can just do it and people will still use it, like they do with XeSS. That brings lower performance than FSR and people still use it over FSR. So yeah. AMD AV1 is brilliant on YouTube, and guess what? I'm using H.264 because this damn software, Streamlabs Desktop, doesn't support H.265 and doesn't support AV1, which sucks. So yeah, let's start here. Which sucks, and still the image quality is not bad at all. You just need to increase the video bitrate. Let's see what we got there.
That's because tech doesn't just solve challenges.
Let me know about the volume.
It transforms them into
the
opportunities.
Okay or not.
It helps us move smarter, live healthier, and experience the world in ways we never thought possible. We are not just here for a tech event. We're here to connect,
I'm reading the
to
comments
solve,
on the smartphone,
to discover, together. Tech isn't just advancing, it's uniting, bringing us closer to an autonomous future.
Remember, it's
connecting
the AI
us
game.
to better care,
Take a shot every
making
time
life
says,
more connected, more
I
dynamic,
guess I'm gonna grab a
and
beer.
more
Just wait a
human.
bit.
Today's challenges demand bold solutions, and CES is where they start to take shape. Breakthroughs in sustainability, advancements to help feed our growing world. This week isn't just a stage for breakthroughs, it's the spark for discovery. Every screen, every pixel, every part of the tech you will see here showcases the extraordinary potential of human ingenuity meeting technological power. Now we begin this celebration of what connects us, has the power to solve our greatest challenges, and offers endless possibilities we're yet to discover. Right here, right now. The world is watching. So let's dive in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
I'm
CES
back.
2025. I'm Gary Shapiro, CEO and
By the way,
Vice
for
Chairman
some
of the
odd
Consumer
reason, Chad from
Technology
NVIDIA
Association,
is watching
the
this video,
producer
this
of
live stream.
CES, and I am
This
so
is Super
thrilled
Bowl,
to
a
kick
great
off
beer, like
this
we
show
talk
with a
at Gamescom.
keynote by one of the most consequential companies in the world. NVIDIA exemplifies the cutting-edge innovation we celebrate at CES. And founder and CEO Jensen Huang is a true visionary, demonstrating the power of ideas, technology, and conviction to drive innovation
A bit too loud.
and reshape our industry and our society.
And yeah, the
I
quality
always
is fine.
like to say
And it's
that
the
if I'd
worst
listened
codec.
a little bit more closely the last time Jensen spoke at a CTA event, I could have retired already. But over the past 3 decades, he has established NVIDIA as a force driving change across the globe in industries ranging
By
from
the way, Jack
healthcare,
Wynn was very
automotive,
nervous,
and
but this guy is
entertainment.
just like
Today,
owning the stage.
NVIDIA is pioneering breakthroughs in AI and accelerated computing that touch nearly every person and every business. Thanks to his leadership, NVIDIA's innovations enable advanced chatbots, robots, software-defined vehicles.
Yeah, it's much
huge
better than
virtual
Jack
worlds,
Wynn in terms of not being
hyper-synchronized
nervous.
factory floors, and
Jack
so
Wynn was
much
literally
more.
shaking.
Wang has been named the world's
Generated.
best CEO by Fortune and The Economist, as well as one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world. But you know, the fact is, like for all of us in this room, Our success and his success was not preordained.
Now they are rubbing
Jensen
Jensen's
working
chest.
at a
Like,
Denny's as a dishwasher and a busboy, so be nice to them in the future. And he said that the lessons he's learned there, the value of hard work, humility, and hospitality, are what helped him keep the faith and persevere through some of NVIDIA's early challenges. In just a few minutes, we'll hear from NVIDIA founder and CEO Jensen Huang
exactly, that's
on
what
his
AMD
unwavering
did.
vision of the future.
They're waiting for
and
NVIDIA's
where we're
pricing,
headed next.
as always.
Stay tuned and have a great CES.
Because they don't really want to release a higher price and then be cut off by NVIDIA. This thing is full, Jesus. I went to Gamescom and there was a lot of people, but this is full. Right? Nipple rubs, yeah, almost like that. Now we're waiting. Yeah, exactly. It sounds like he's presenting him, which it's kind of an introduction. Yeah, lots of people on the audience. Do you think the 9070 XT will beat the 7900 XT in raster? Well, at least it will match it in almost every single game. The new Apple, exactly. So now we just have to wait like 5 minutes and it will be fine. Bro looks like a cartoon villain. That's nice. Get your loop ready, lads. 700 people. Welcome, all of you. Welcome to this channel, and if you're new, don't forget to watch my content on the video section. I believe that I have some content for everyone. I have content about frame generation, CPU comparisons, GPU comparisons, Intel, NVIDIA, AMD, everything there. So yeah, check it out. We're getting rickrolled. Imagine that we were waiting this, and suddenly it was just like shut down. And then they were like, see you next year. That would be nice. I guess Jensen is still seeing if the leather jacket still fits. Jensen, imagine if Jensen was like, I'm just leaving home. Or instead it's just, I'm just getting there, wait for me, and he's just leaving home now to come for CES. Oh, that would be nice. So here we are now. Jesus. We're getting there. As we all know, AI will come first and last. And we're being brickrolled again. It is fun because we have the background noise and we have the noise from the video itself. $700 people. Yeah, I'm getting famous somehow. Welcome, guys. Welcome if you're new to the channel. Hope you enjoy it. 580 is a PS5 exclusive. What? What? Yeah, we all miss affordable cards, but we have this. The market is kind of cyclic, so there will be a time where everything will get more and more and more and more expensive, and then it will kind of blow up, and then it will become less expensive again. And for some years, it will keep increasing the price till it gets again way more expensive. Then it will blow up. That's how the market works generally. Thank you, guys, for telling me to get well, and sorry again about the coughing. Oh, here we are, people applauding, cheering. Robert Myers is saying there is no way 64 compute units will come anywhere close to 84 compute units on the same memory. Just false. False. The 7800 XT is very close to the 6950 XT in most case scenarios. So
a new kind of factory.
And you'll see that.
Generator of tokens. The building blocks of AI. Tokens have opened a new frontier, the first step into an extraordinary world, where endless possibilities are born.
Welcome to Starfield.
Tokens transform words into knowledge and breathe life into images. They turn ideas into videos and help us safely navigate any environment. Tokens teach robots to move like the masters.
Superbock, do you want a Superbock beer?
Inspire new
Star
ways
Trek,
to
yeah.
celebrate our victories.
A martini, please.
Tony, light up.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And give us peace of mind when we need it most.
Hi, Maroka.
Hi, Anna. It's good to see you again.
Wait, I'm just gonna
Hi,
charge
Emma.
my
We're
robot.
gonna take your blood sample today, okay?
Don't worry. I'm gonna be here the whole time.
Hello, Anthony. Glad to see you here.
They bring meaning to numbers
I
to
love
help us
sucking off
better
AI.
understand the world around us.
So this is for the investors, not the gamers, of course.
Predict the dangers that surround us.
But it already started considerably better than the AMD side.
And find cures for the threats within us. Tokens can bring our visions to life.
What the hell is that guy wearing?
And restore what we've lost.
No, this is great. This is great.
Zachary, I got my voice back, buddy.
They help us move forward. One small step at a time.
This is great. Really. An exoskeleton.
And one giant leap. Together.
Yeah, that's most people don't care about it. I'm talking about the feeling. It's already a way bigger feeling and way better feeling
And here,
than the AMD presentation. On that, NVIDIA
it's where it all begins.
always does some interesting things. The feeling that they pass to the public.
Welcome to the stage, NVIDIA founder and CEO, Jensen Huang.
Welcome, Jensen. Welcome to my humble house. That's a new leather jacket. That's why it was taking so long. It's like a crocodile jacket.
Are you excited to be in Las Vegas?
See the difference in energy compared to the AMD side where Jack Win was really nervous and there was nothing really relevant.
Do you
The
like my
energy is
jacket?
completely different. You see the jacket.
I thought I'd go the other way from Gary Shapiro. I'm in Las Vegas after all. If this doesn't work out, if all of you object, well, just get used to it. I really think you have to let this sink in.
Path Trace jacket.
In another hour or so, you're going to feel good about it. Well, welcome to NVIDIA. In fact, you're inside NVIDIA's digital twin. And we're going to take you to NVIDIA.
RTX jacket.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NVIDIA.
Welcome to the 800 people watching the live stream.
Our digital
Thank you.
twin.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Everything here is generated by AI. It has been an extraordinary journey, extraordinary year. And it started in 1993.
Ready, go!
With NV1, we wanted to build computers that can do things that normal computers couldn't. And NV1 made it possible to have a game console in your PC. our programming architecture was called UDA, missing the letter C until a little while later, but UDA, Unified Device Architecture. And the first developer for UDA and the first application that ever worked on UDA was Sega's Virtual Fighter.
Virtual Fighter.
6 years later, we invented in
So many
1999
great memories.
the programmable GPU. And it started 20 plus years of incredible advance in this incredible processor called the GPU. It made modern computer graphics possible. And now, 30
Sega.
years later, Sega's Virtual Fighter is completely cinematic.
No. We're gonna have a new Virtual Fighter. That's insane. A new Virtual Fighter.
This is
Oh,
the new Virtual
goodness.
Fighter project that's coming. I just can't wait.
Oh, look at the
Absolutely.
animations. Damn.
6 years after that, 6 years after 1999, we invented CUDA so that we could explain or express the programmability of our GPUs to a rich
Bro,
set
just
of
give me the
algorithms that could
numbers.
benefit from it.
That's what people are
CUDA
saying.
initially was difficult to explain, and it took years, in fact. It took approximately 6 years. Somehow, 6 years later or so, 2012, Alex Karshevsky, Ilya Sutskever, and Jeff Hinton discovered CUDA, used it to process AlexNet.
I wonder how many
and the rest
overpriced
of it
GPUs cover
is
the
history.
cost of that shitty,
AI has
shiny,
been advancing
not shitty,
at an
jacket.
incredible pace since.
Yeah, nice comment.
Started with perception AI. We now can understand images and words and sounds.
Yeah,
Generative AI.
Virtual Fighter.
We can generate images and text and sounds. And now, agentic AI. AIs that can perceive, reason, plan, and act. And then the next phase, some of which we'll talk about tonight, physical AI, 2012. Now, magically, 2018, something happened that was pretty incredible.
Comic sense.
Google's Transformer was released as BERT, and the world of AI really took off.
9800X 3D plus 590
Transformers,
equals
as you
GTA
know,
6, yes. And
completely
thank you
changed
for the
landscape
support.
for artificial intelligence.
It will
In
run
fact,
it, of course.
completely changed the landscape for computing altogether. We recognized properly that AI was not just a new application with a new business opportunity, but AI, more importantly, machine learning enabled by transformers, was going to fundamentally change how computing works.
And it did.
And today, computing is revolutionized in every single layer, from hand coding, instructions that run on CPUs to create software tools that humans use. We now have machine learning that creates and optimizes neural networks that processes on GPUs and creates artificial intelligence.
Hey, I count.
Every single
Drinking
layer
game,
of
guys.
the technology stack has been completely changed. An incredible transformation in just 12 years. Well, we can now understand information
This
of
could be an email.
just about any modality. Surely you've seen text and images and sounds and things like that. But not only can we understand those, we can understand amino acids, we can understand physics. We understand them, we can translate them, and
Yeah, this
generate
guy
them.
just
The
does great
applications are
presentations.
just
Say whatever he
completely
wants,
endless.
but he
In
knows
fact,
what he's
almost any
doing.
AI application
He
that
has
you
presence.
see out there,
Yeah.
what modality is the input that it learned from?
It is much better to watch.
What modality of information did it translate to? And what modality of information is it generating? If you ask these three fundamental questions, just about every single application could be inferred. And so when you see application after applications that are AI-driven, AI-native,
All at
at the
jacket.
core of it, this fundamental concept is there. Machine learning has changed how every application is going to be built, how computing will be done, and the possibilities beyond. Well, GPUs, GeForce, in a lot of ways, all of this with AI is the house that GeForce built. GeForce enabled AI to reach the masses.
Great.
And now, AI is coming home to GeForce. There are so many things that you can't do without AI. Let me show you some of it.
Okay.
Now.
Let's watch, finally. Real time using RTX Blackwell, which is the RTX 5000 series. In real time, this is a movie. What is this? Oh, it's DLSS 4, full ray tracing on. So this is a new game that looks great with the DLSS 4 and full ray tracing. This looks great. Really. Animations are kind of meh, but graphics look great. Whoa, wait. RTX neural material. 16 megabytes of memory. This is what most likely is the DLSS 4. It's the junction of all of these. RTX neural material. This is great. Standard material. So we have better quality, I would say, with less memory. Great. I know it's a demo, of course. Nice. Prince of Persia, maybe. Nice. Better textures. DLSS transformer. Another thing that we have new. So yeah, better quality. DLSS CNN. DLSS transformer, we have better quality. Nice. So we have better things in terms of programming, I guess. Way less memory usage. Neural faces as well. Yeah, VRAM compression. Yep. Better quality.
That was real-time computer graphics.
Great graphics. DLSS is improving. Nice.
No computer graphics researcher, no computer scientist would have told you that it is possible for us to ray trace every single pixel at this point. Ray tracing is a simulation of light. The amount of geometry that you saw was
better textures with
absolutely
lower
insane.
memory. Great.
It would have been impossible without artificial intelligence. There are two fundamental things that we did. We used, of course, programmable shading and ray traced acceleration to produce incredibly beautiful pixels. But then we have artificial intelligence be conditioned, be controlled by that pixel to generate a whole bunch of other pixels. Not only is it able to generate other pixels spatially, because it's aware of what the colors should be, it has been trained on a supercomputer back in NVIDIA, and so the neural network that's running on the GPU can infer and predict the pixels that we did not render. Not only can we do that, it's called DLSS. The latest generation of DLSS also generates beyond frames. It can predict the future, generating 3 additional frames for every frame that we calculate. What you saw, if we just said...
So, Jensen is actually telling us that it does the same that lossless scaling does. We can produce with 1 frame, we can produce at least another 3, meaning that with 60 FPS you can go up to 180 or sometimes even more.
4 frames of what you saw.
Okay.
Because we're going to render 1 frame and generate 3. If I said 4 frames at full HD, 4K, that's 33 million pixels or so. Out of that 33 million pixels, we computed only 2. It is an absolute miracle that we can computationally using programmable shaders and our ray tracing engine, to compute 2 million pixels and have AI predict all of the other 33. And as a result, we're able to render at incredibly high performance because AI does a lot less
latency gets
computation.
hit, of course.
It takes, of course, an enormous amount of training to produce that, but once you train it, the generation is extremely efficient. So this is one of the incredible capabilities of artificial intelligence, and that's why there's so many amazing things that are happening. We use GeForce
it's always
to
pre-trained.
enable artificial intelligence, and now artificial intelligence
2 pixels.
is revolutionizing GeForce. Everyone, today we're announcing our next generation, the RTX Blackwell family.
Yeah, finally we have new GPUs. Frame gen is not a gimmick. Frame gen works, so it's not a gimmick. Yeah, I like the design. Oh, now they have vapor chamber as well. The PCB is actually quite small. GDDR7. Frame generation was never for online games, guys. Yeah, the PCB is so small. Nice design, I like it.
Here it is.
Nice.
Our brand new GeForce RTX 50
It's kind of the
series
same, but
Blackwell
not the same at the same
architecture.
time.
The GPU is just a beast. 92 billion transistors, 4,000 tops, 4 petaflops of AI, 3 times higher than the last generation Ada. And we need all of it to generate those pixels that I showed you.
Okay.
380 ray tracing teraflops so that we could, for the pixels that we have to compute.
Let me just stop this. So 4,000 AI tops in terms of AI performance. It is 3 times what we have on the RTX 4000. 380 ray tracing teraflops. 2 times the ray tracing performance of the RTX 5000, of the RTX 4000. Shaders the same. Damn.
Compute the most beautiful image you
Damn.
possibly can. And of course, 125
AMD is being
shader
cooked now.
teraflops. There's actually a concurrent shader teraflops as well as an integer unit of equal performance. So 2 dual shaders. One is for floating point, one is for integer. G7 memory from Micron, 1.8 terabytes per second, twice the performance of our last generation. And we now have the ability to intermix AI workloads with computer graphics workloads. And one of the amazing things about this generation is the programmable shader is also able to now process neural networks. So the shader is able to carry these neural networks, and as a result, we invented neural texture compression and neural material shading.
So basically the shader also works with AI now, which makes it able to have that neural compression that we saw before,
Result of that,
with better textures. With better textures and lower VRAM usage.
You get these amazingly beautiful images that are only possible because we use AIs to learn the texture, learn the compression algorithm, and as a result, get extraordinary results. Okay, so this is the brand new RTX Blackwell 5090.
Oh, this is the 5090, not the 5080.
Now,
Wait, the 5090, the cooler is actually pretty small. And I believe that's because they have the vapor chamber, which reduces the temperatures quite a lot. The cooler is quite small. The graphics is quite small. Putting it on hand, quite small compared to the previous. I have a 4080 Super, and the cooler is massive. And the 5090 is actually small cooler.
Mechanical design is a miracle. Look at this. It's got 2 fans.
Yeah, 2 fans.
This whole graphics card is just one giant fan. You know, so the question is, where's the graphics card? Is it literally this big?
Yeah, the PCB is so small.
The voltage regulated design is state-of-the-art. Incredible design. The engineering team did a great job. So here it is. Thank you.
I'm telling you guys right now that AMD has no chance here. No chance. And if they don't play their cards right, they won't really have a chance for the next couple generations. If they don't play their cards right.
Okay, so those are the speeds and feeds, so how does it
compare? In terms
compare?
of GPUs, of course.
Well, this is RTX 4090. I know many of you have one.
See, the cooler is just massive compared to that one.
I know it. Look, it's $1,599. It is one of the best investments you could possibly make. For $1,599, you bring it home to your $10,000 PC entertainment command center. Isn't that right? Don't tell me that's not true. Don't be ashamed. It's liquid cooled.
$10,000.
Fancy lights all over it.
This guy just lives in his own reality. You lock it when you leave.
It's the modern home theater. It makes perfect sense. And now for $1,500 and $1,599, you get to upgrade that and turbocharge the living daylights out of it. Well, now with the Blackwell family, RTX 5070, 40.
Guys, I'm just gonna tell you that if this is true, again, AMD has no chance in hell. 4090 performance with a 5070.
90 performance.
Oh my God. Now this is great. I wasn't expecting this from NVIDIA. What the hell? Woo!
Impossible without artificial intelligence. Impossible without the four
AMD must be like this right now. Damn.
AI tensor cores. Impossible without the G7 memories.
Damn, they have to price the 9070 XT at like $399 now, since it is 7900 XT performance, which is much lower than the 4090. Jesus Christ.
5070.
If this is true,
performance, $549, and here's the whole family. Starting from 5070 all the way up to 5090. 5090, twice the performance of a 4090.
What? What? 5090, twice the performance. Well, take this with a grain of salt, but I mean, the 580 is still $999, so they didn't increase the price from the 4080 Super on the 580, and they just increased the price of the 5090. So 5080, same price. 5070 Ti is actually at a lower price than it was before, and the 5070 is also at the same price. So same price, lower price, same price, and if you compare to the 4080, lower price, and the only card that goes up in price is the 590. Jesus Christ. AMD is so cooked now. They have to sell the 9070 at $399 if they want to sell cards at all. Damn.
Starting.
They told us, if this is true, again, if this is true, 5070 at 4090 performance.
Of course, we're producing at very large scale, availability starting January.
Well, wait. And it starts in January, so they are going to release this at this price and before the AMD cards. Jesus Christ, this is not a competition, this is a massacre.
At very large scale, availability starting January.
This is a massacre.
Well, it is incredible, but we managed to put these in gigantic performance GPUs into a laptop. This is a 5070 laptop. For $1,299, this 5070 laptop has a 4090 performance. I think there's one here somewhere. Let me show you this.
Nah.
This is a...
Don't shit me not.
Look at this thing. Here.
This laptop, this thin, as the 4090 performance. Don't come to me with this shit.
Pockets.
Where?
Ladies and gentlemen, Janine Paul. So can you imagine? You get this incredible graphics card here, Blackwell. We're going to shrink it and put it in there. Does that make any sense? Well, you can't do that without artificial intelligence. And the reason for that is because we're generating most of the pixels using our tensor cores. So we ray trace only.
So they're basically, I believe that the performance at the 4090 level must be with the DLSS, not native. It's just with the DLSS since they are using tensor cores to generate the pixels. So yeah, that's why it has the 4090 performance. Now I'm understanding.
Generate using artificial intelligence.
Now I'm understanding.
As a result, the energy efficiency is just off the charts. The future of computer graphics is neural rendering, the fusion of artificial intelligence and computer graphics. And what's really amazing is, oh, here we go. Thank you. It's surprisingly kinetic. and
basically not frame generation, just the DLSS upscaling.
And so the 5090 will fit into a laptop, a thin laptop. That last laptop was 14.9 millimeters. You got a 5080, 5070 Ti.
Yeah, it's a laptop. It's normal that it costs way more.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the RTX Blackwell family.
Yeah, I'm actually happy for the RTX 4070 pricing. The 5070 pricing, Jesus. And if it really is the 4090 performance, this is massive. But I believe it is because of the tensor cores and so on. Basically, they're predicting the pixels and so on. But let's see how that goes. Because, again, yeah, it's not really the same. But yeah.
Well, GeForce brought AI to the world.
We need to see some performance numbers,
AI.
really.
Now AI has come back and revolutionized GeForce. Let's talk about artificial intelligence. Let's go to somewhere else at NVIDIA.
Okay.
This is literally our office. This is literally NVIDIA's headquarters. Okay, so let's talk about AI. The industry,
we need some benchmarks,
is chasing and racing to scale artificial intelligence. And the scaling law is a powerful model. It's an empirical law that has been observed and demonstrated by researchers.
Yeah, no numbers yet, because I believe that, once again, they're talking about 5070 equals 4090, but in terms of the DLSS, since the DLSS 4 integrates neural rendering and so on.
An industry over several generations. And the scaling law says that the more data you have, the training data that you have, the larger model that you have, and the more compute that you apply to it, therefore, the more effective or the more capable your model will become. And so the scaling law continues. What's really amazing is that now we're moving towards, of course, and the internet is producing about twice the amount of data every single year as it did last year. I think in the next couple of years humanity will produce more data than all of humanity has ever produced since the beginning. And so we're still producing a gigantic amount of data, and it's becoming multimodal. Video and images and sound, all of that data could be used to train the fundamental knowledge, the foundational knowledge of an AI. But there are, in fact, two other scaling laws that has now emerged. And it's somewhat intuitive.
I'm going to tell you guys, again, if this is true, and big if, because of the tensor cores producing the frames, generating the frames, and generating the pixels, if this is true, this is huge, and AMD really needs to step it up.
The second scaling law is post-training scaling law. Post-training scaling law uses techniques like reinforcement learning, human feedback. Basically,
I believe that we can move forward here a bit. We're not in a live stream direct.
Or having you get feedback, you need to try it as
nothing really important here, I guess.
To produce the answers it wants to be incredibly effective. Valuable.
Let's see if we have some benchmarks.
So first of all,
okay,
there's some. Every single cloud service provider now have systems up and running. We have systems here from about 15.
Exactly what I was saying. Exactly what I was saying. John Wick Boomstick says, but if you have to train it, the only games to support the DLSS 4 will give you that performance, right? Or would it work on older games? I believe that, yeah, the RTX 5070 will only have 4090 performance in games that support DLSS 4. I believe that's the case.
15 computer makers. It's being made about 200 different SKUs.
Okay, let's go a bit more, a bit further.
Your hands into a dark place. Hang on a second. Is this a good idea? All right.
Don't let that hit the floor. Just... Oh. Okay. Captain NVIDIA. Oh, the hammer. The hammer isn't there.
Wait for it. Wait for it. I thought I was worthy. Apparently, Yonir didn't think I was worthy. So, this NVLink system, this right here.
Now we have NVLink.
This is being managed outside.
Are we going to have benchmarks? Because just saying that the 5070 equals the 4090 is just like that.
Per dollar.
We need some benchmarks as well.
That basically says that in one generation, we reduce the cost of training these models by a factor of 3. Or if you want to increase the size of your model by a factor of 3, it's about the same cost. But the important thing is this. These are generating tokens that are being used by all.
Again, let's go to direct.
Our last generation, then the revenue that could be generated, the amount of business that can be generated in the data center is increased by a factor of 4. And so these AI factory systems really are factories today. Now the goal of all of this is so that we can create one giant chip. The amount of computation we need is really quite incredible. And this is basically one giant chip. If we would have had to build a chip, here we go. Sorry, guys. You see that? That's cool. Look at that, disco lights in here. All right. If we had to build this as one chip, obviously this would be the size of the wafer. But
Let's
this
see what we
doesn't
have.
include the
If
impact
we have some
of yield.
benchmarks.
It would have to be probably 3 or 4 times this size. But what we basically have here is 72 Blackwell GPUs or 144 dies. This one chip here is 1.4 exaflops. The world's largest supercomputer, fastest supercomputer, only recently, this entire room supercomputer only recently achieved an exaflop plus. This is 1.4 exaflops of AI floating point performance. It has 14 terabytes of memory, but here's the amazing thing. The memory bandwidth is 1.2 petabytes per second.
Jesus Christ.
That's basically the entire internet traffic that's happening right now. The entire world's internet traffic is being processed across these chips, okay? And we have 130 trillion transistors in total, 2,592 CPU cores.
This is a huge,
whole bunch of networking.
Huge step.
And so these, I wish I could do this. I don't think I will. So these are the Blackwells. These are our ConnectX networking chips. These are the NVLink, and we're trying to pretend about the NVLink spine.
The 4080 should be around 60% faster,
and these are
maybe.
all of the HBM
40
memories.
to 60, according to what they say.
14 terabytes of HBM memory. This is what we're trying to do. And this
Yeah,
is
you're
the
not
miracle.
going to need a bigger case
This is the
because these
miracle of the
GPUs are
Blackwell
actually
system.
smaller than the previous
Blackwell dies
generation.
right here. It is the largest single chip the world's ever made. But yet, the miracle is really, in addition to that, this is the Grace Blackwell system. Well, the goal of all of this, of course, is so that we can, thank you, thanks.
I actually need to see some benchmarks.
Boy, is there a chair I could sit down for a second?
He's laughing to himself.
Can I have a Michelob Ultra?
That seems like a whiskey bottle or a cachaça one.
How is it possible that we're in the Michelob Ultra? It's like coming to NVIDIA and we don't have a GPU for you. So we need an enormous amount of computation because we want to train larger and larger models. And these inferences
possibly
used to
3
be
nanometers,
one
yes.
inference, but in the future, the AI is going to be talking to itself. It's going to be thinking. It's going to be internally reflecting, processing. So today, when the tokens are being generated at you, so long as it's coming out at 20 or 30 tokens per second, it's basically as fast as anybody can read.
It's also playing the AI game,
in the future,
definitely.
And right now with GPT-01, you know, with the new Gemini Pro and the new the 01, 03 models, they're talking to themselves, reflecting, they're thinking. And so, as you can imagine, the rate at which the tokens could be ingested is incredibly
You guys are
high.
saying that you won't buy
And so
NVIDIA,
we
but
need
I
the
mean,
token rates,
you should
token
buy
generation rates to go
whatever
way up.
company gives you
And
the
we
best
also
price
have to drive
performance.
the cost way down simultaneously so that the quality of service can be extraordinary, the cost to customers can continue to be low, and AI will continue to scale. And so that's the fundamental purpose, the reason why we created NVMe.
Yeah.
Well, one of the most important things that's happening in the world of enterprise is agentic AI. Agentic AI basically is a perfect example of test time scaling. It's a AI
What about
system
benchmarks?
of models. Some of it is understanding, interacting with the customer, interacting with the user. Some of it's maybe
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. The 5070 won't reach the performance of the 4090 in terms of normal raster or even in terms of ray tracing. It might be close, but it will reach the 4090 performance with the DLSS 4 and all those shenanigans. It will be there.
retrieving information
But again,
from
take this with a
storage,
grain of salt.
semantic AI system like a RAG. Maybe it's going on to the internet. Maybe it's studying a PDF file. And so it might be using tools. It might be using a calculator. And it might be using a generative AI to generate charts and such. And it's taking the problem you gave it, breaking it down step by step. And
New
it's
office
iterating through
setup.
all these
Yeah,
different models.
I've been living
Well,
in my new
in
house
order to
for quite a
respond to
while.
a customer in the future, in order for AI to respond, it used to be ask a question, answer starts spewing out. In the future, you ask a question, a whole bunch of models are going to be working in the background. And so test time scaling.
Hey Fabio,
The
I'm
amount of
also a bit sick
computation
right
used
now.
for
Seems
inferencing
like
is
it's
gonna
going
go
around
through
again.
the roof.
Yeah, it's been a
It's gonna
week.
go through the roof because we want better and better answers.
It goes away, then
Well,
it comes back.
To help
Jesus.
the industry build agentic AI, our go-to-market is not direct to enterprise customers.
Yeah,
Our go-to-market
I need
is
some gaming
we work with
benchmarks
software
here.
developers in the IT ecosystem to integrate
AI is
our
speaking to
technology
itself.
to make
Does that
possible
concept
new
of
capabilities,
Gigo
just like we did with CUDA libraries.
mean nothing
we now
to Jensen?
want to do
Yeah.
that with AI libraries. And just as the computing model of the past,
The prices
has
are actually quite.
APIs that are
You guys are talking about the prices, but the only GPU that had its price increased, I believe, was the 5090. The other ones kept its price, which is actually quite surprising. I wasn't expecting that at all.
doing computer graphics.
NVIDIA,
or
NVIDA,
doing
not
linear
NVIDIA.
algebra,
AMD
or
needs to
doing
cut
fluid
prices a
dynamics.
lot if they
In the
want to
future,
sell
on
GPUs.
top of those
I'm just letting you know.
acceleration libraries, CUDA acceleration libraries, we'll have AI libraries. We've created 3 things for helping the ecosystem build agentic AI. NVIDIA
price is
NIMs,
before tax, of
which are
course.
essentially
All MSRPs
AI
are before tax.
microservices all packaged up. It takes all of this really complicated CUDA software.
I will
CUDA
rest, don't
DNN,
worry. Thank you.
Cutlass or TensorRT-LM or Triton or all of these different really complicated software, and the model itself, we package it up, we optimize it, we put it into a container, and you could take it wherever you like. And so we have models for vision, for understanding languages, for speech, for animation, for digital biology, and we have some new exciting models coming for physical AI. And these AI models run in every single cloud because NVIDIA's GPUs are now available in every single cloud. It's available in every single OEM. So you could...
I'm 100% buying the 5090, $2,000, Jesus. 5070 without the DLSS 4 doesn't match at least the 4080 Super. There will be a massive loss. Yeah, it will match maybe the 4080, I guess. And of course it will match the 4090 with the DLSS 4.
You could literally take these models, integrate it into your software.
Thank you guys for
packages,
telling me to get well
create AI
soon.
agents that run on
I'm thinking on it.
Cadence, or there might be
Skynet.
ServiceNow agents, or they might be SAP agents, and they could deploy it to their customers and run it wherever the customers want to run the software. The next layer is what we call NVIDIA NeMo. NeMo is essentially
I'll just keep the video going, but I will reduce the volume a bit.
Things that you're not allowed to do. These are
Let
things
me
you're
just
not
do this. So I believe that in this case scenario, yeah, NVIDIA didn't show benchmarks, so let's take this with a grain of salt. And I believe that they're talking, when they are saying RTX 5070 equals 4090 performance, I believe they're talking about in terms of the DLSS. If you're using the DLSS with the 4090 and you're using now the DLSS 4 with the 5070 will perform as good as the 4090, which is great. But generally, again, and the prices are actually way better than I thought. Way better than I thought. Really way better. But again, it all comes to what you want. It all comes to what you want, what do you need. And in terms of power draw and in terms of the size of the package, it is also way smaller. The 4080 Super was massive, like 3 slots. The 4090 was like 4 slots, and this one is really small. Even the 5090 was very small, which is great. So smaller cards, great cooling, great performance. Let's see what we have. And the price is actually, again, surprising.
NVIDIA Llama Nemotron language foundation models. Llama 3.1 is a complete...
People are asking me to do a quick recap. Basically, RTX 5070 is like $549. The 5070 Ti was like $700 or something like that, so below the price that we have here usually. Then the 5080 was $999, so $1,000, meaning that it has the same exact price as the 4080 Super, which is already lower than the 4080. The 4080 was $1,200. The 4080 Super was $1,000, and the 5080 keeps itself at $1,000 as well, with the only card raising prices, at least from the 5090 to the 5070, being the 5090 that goes from $1,499 to $2,000. That's basically the recap. That's what we have so far. There are benchmarks on NVIDIA's webpage. Oh, are there? Since we don't really have much here, let's see some benchmarks. Products, I guess. GeForce graphics cards. Let's see. As you can see, I really like the design with the power connectors here, and as you can see, the card is just much better. So let's see the performance. We have the performance here. The keynote is still running, but we do have the performance here. Great. Let me just open it. And again, we're talking about performance, but it is ray tracing, and in this case, DLSS plus ray tracing. DLSS plus full ray tracing, which means path tracing, then DLSS plus full ray tracing. So let's see the 5070. The 5070 is compared to the 4070. In Far Cry, as you can see, it isn't that great. The 5070 is just going like 1.3 times, maybe 1.3 times. So 30% better, I would say, which is not bad by any means. If we're going once again to Plague Tale Requiem and testing with ray tracing as well, since the ray tracing in Blackwell is much better, we're talking about, let's say, 1.4 times, a little better, so 40% better, great. If we're talking about Cyberpunk and we're talking about path tracing, this is where the 5070 just performs much better. In terms of path tracing, the performance difference is just crazy, and as you see, we go from over 2 times. So let's say that with path tracing you're getting like, let's say, 40 FPS with the 4070, and with the 5070 you go from 40 to 80 or 70 something FPS, which is actually very nice. In terms of Alan Wake, we're talking of path tracing as well, so it makes a huge difference again, 2 times. And if we're talking about Black Myth Wukong with the DLSS plus full ray tracing, we're talking also about 2 times the performance, over 2 times the performance, which is actually crazy. Imagine that we can go like from 40 to 80 FPS going from the 4070 to the 5070, and that's great if true. Again, if true. Now going to the 5070 Ti, they're comparing it as well with the 4070 Ti, because if they compared the 5070 here with the 4090, for example, Far Cry would have a much better result with the 4090, Plague Tale Requiem definitely much better result, and it would be maybe on these titles where the RTX 5070 is close to the 4090. So it isn't in all titles, just in some titles again. And when we're talking about heavy ray tracing, because in rasterization it won't be even close, but we'll get there. 5070 Ti. Oh Jesus. Oh, that's bad. So RTX 5070 Ti, Far Cry once again bad, Plague Tale Requiem small difference, 1.3, 1.4 tops, but as soon as we talk about path tracing, we have, or really good ray tracing, we have a huge difference once again, over 2 times the performance. So yeah. The disclaimer, 1440p max settings, DLSS SR quality. So DLSS SR quality, DLSS SR must be the new thing that we have, and DLSS RR on 40 series and 50 series. So we have ray reconstruction and we have super resolution. Oh, it's super resolution SR. The FG on the 40 series, MFG. Oh, I see. That's that's why we have better performance almost twice, because they are using frame generation. They are using frame generation at 4 times. So instead of having 2 times on the 40 series, they have 4 times on the 50 series, and that's why. That's why the difference here is small, because it only supports DLSS 3, and I believe that DLSS 4 will be in Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk is their tech demo, of course. Cyberpunk, Alan Wake, and Black Myth Wukong will support DLSS 4, and that's what's happening here. Damn son. So basically they have more frames because they are generating more frames. Now it comes all to 2 things. To latency, of course. Latency is very important, and on top of that, just not latency, of course, but the quality of the generated frames. If the quality of the generated frames is great and the latency is not bad, then why not generate the other frames as well? I mean, it's not bad. If it works well, it is not a bad thing, but generally I believe it won't work that well. But still, if we're talking about 20-30% increase over the previous generation, it is still a nice increase over the previous generation, with the option to have all these features like DLSS 4, more frames generated if properly generated. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, last generation was more or less like that, so not bad. As for the 5080, we have once again the same 1.2, 1.3 times in normal games that don't support DLSS 4. Then in games that support or that will support FSR 4, DLSS 4, sorry, we have Cyberpunk, Alan Wake, and Black Myth Wukong having basically 2 times the performance, which again, 2 times the performance is happening because they are using MFG 4 times mode. So yeah, now, will it work fine? I don't really know, because again, AI can be really, really insane, and we've seen many AI videos, current and recent AI videos, that are really, really well in terms of quality. They are really, really crazy, and in this case scenario, I don't really know if we can actually say it will be bad or not, because it's using AI right from the engine, from the shader engine as well. So that's crazy. Now, will it work well in the 4 times mode? We don't really know, but if it does, this will be a great thing. As for the 5090, now the 5090 has the biggest performance gains, as expected. Even in terms of Far Cry, for example, we're talking about, let's say, 20-something%, then we're talking about 40% in Plague Tale Requiem. Even without anything, we have 40% more performance. And then in games that support MFG, again, we're talking about a big performance increase, going from like over 2 times the performance. In Cyberpunk, imagine running Cyberpunk, instead of going to 40 FPS again, or 60 FPS with path tracing, you go to 120, and that's crazy. Again, if the MFG, as they call it, 4 times more oh my goodness, 4 times mode works well. If it doesn't, meh, we have to wait and see. But that's why I was telling you guys, and sorry, I'm just gonna take off my headphones, and that's why I was telling you to take those results with a grain of salt, and if they were true, because in terms of rasterization or normal ray tracing, we're seeing about 30-40% max performance increase, which is not bad, but it isn't mind-blowing. The performance increase that we see is basically with the DLSS 4 and the MFG, like they call it. But yeah. Now, we have the results here. Let's see RTX games. We have lots of RTX games. DLSS 4. Supreme speed, superior visuals, powered by AI. DLSS is a revolutionary suite of neural rendering technologies that uses AI to boost FPS, reduce latency, and improve image quality. So they are also working on latency because that's one of the things that they need to do. Because since they are kind of predicting the next frames, the next four frames, which is insane, they need to have AI working in order to reduce the latency, and that costs processing power as well. The latest breakthrough, DLSS 4, brings new multi-frame generation, MFG, and enhanced ray reconstruction and super resolution powered by GeForce RTX 50 series GPUs and 5th generation tensor cores. DLSS on GeForce RTX is the best way to play, backed by an NVIDIA AI supercomputer in the cloud, constantly improving your PC's gaming capabilities. Yeah, let's see just the video. Okay. Really? From 28 to 243 FPS, and they are actually expecting us to believe that the performance will be nice. That's why they're just moving forward, because going from 26 to 240 FPS, really? Take this with a big grain of salt. But yeah. Now, this is interesting. Full ray tracing with neural rendering. Game-changing realism. The NVIDIA Blackwell architecture unlocks game-changing realism of full ray tracing. Experience cinematic quality visuals at unprecedented speed, powered by the GeForce RTX 50 series with the 4th Gen RT cores and breakthrough neural rendering technologies accelerated with the 5th Gen tensor cores. Now we have some examples here. I believe this is Half-Life 2, and we have RTX on, of course, and when we're talking about RTX on, it's basically that technology that they have, RTX Remix, and this is the normal game, and as soon as you activate RTX Remix, we have the shadows here, for example, the cast shadows, the lighting there, much better, the reflections, even the models can be changed, the vegetation just looks much better, and that's quite normal. Now, we also have NVIDIA Reflex 2, that's insane, compete at warp speed. Reflex Technologies optimize the graphics pipeline for ultimate responsiveness, providing faster target acquisition. And that's exactly why they are bringing Reflex 2, like I was telling you before. They are bringing Reflex 2 because they are adding a lot, and I repeat, a lot of latency to the table when they are using the 4x frame generation. They're doing that, and since they're doing that, it adds a lot of latency, so they needed the Reflex 2 in order to reduce the latency. And we have, according to them, we go from 60 milliseconds, which is quite a lot, 60, 63, to 1540 something milliseconds. And again, this is using an RTX 5070 at 4K highest settings. And that's a lot of difference. That's a huge decrease, actually. If this works as intended, this is huge. NVIDIA is cooking something here, and this is huge. For the price it is, damn. Now we have Reflex 2 AI PCs, creators, and specs. Now let's see some of the specs. 5090, 5080, 5070 Ti, 57. DLSS 4, of course. As for the AI tops, the difference is just crazy in between the 5080 and the 5090. The difference is crazy. Tensor cores, 5th generation, ray tracing cores. Now we have Nvme once again. And this is interesting. So with the NVIDIA encoder, we have 1x the 9th generation. With the 5070 Ti, 2x the 9th generation. And then with the 5090, we have 3x the 9th generation, and I don't really know what this means. And as for the decoder, maybe you have more encoders, maybe meaning that it will work better in terms of streaming and so on. The prices are like $549 for the RTX for the RTX 5070, $700 and something for the 5070 Ti, and $999 for the RTX 5080, and $2,000 for the 5090. As for the memory configuration, yes, it's basically 12 gigabytes, still 12 gigabytes. That's why they're doing the neural compression. 12 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes on the 5070 Ti, 16 gigabytes on the 580, but at least we have GDDR7, which improves the bandwidth by a lot. And then we have the 5090 going to a huge 32 gigabytes, which is just insane. As you can see in terms of pricing, $549 5070, $749 5070 Ti, 580 at $999, and the 5090 is actually the only GPU that gets its price increased, I believe, to $2,000. So yeah, that's actually crazy. Great things that we have here. Once again, DLSS 4. Yeah, great. And still talking about AI. So guys, just to go here and watch some comments. NVIDIA GPUs, great so far. Even if we're talking about just rasterization, I believe they will be around 20 to 40% faster depending on the game. Just talking about rasterization, which is quite nice for a new generation, especially in 2025. And especially since they are maintaining the prices. So they are actually maintaining the prices, I believe, and we have better performance, which nowadays is quite cool. And in terms of power draw, it is also nice. In terms of pricing, great. In terms of power draw, it seems to be great. In terms of the package is way smaller because they have a vapor chamber, meaning that the temperatures will also be cooler on a smaller package. And in terms of the DLSS, they have way better performance because they're basically generating 4 times the frames. It's basically the same as going to lossless scaling, and instead of generating just 2 times the frames, go and generate 4 times the frames. It all comes to how great the generated frames are in terms of quality, if they are mostly imperceptible or not. Because if you're playing but you are noticing visual artifacts the same way that the DLSS 3 frame generation had in the beginning, and even nowadays, but especially in the beginning, if we have artifacts, if we have issues with frame generation, then the DLSS MFG won't really be that great. But in terms of ray tracing, we also have way better performance, which is great, and especially path tracing. Now, MFG will work nice, and that's why they're bringing Reflex 2 as well, because they need that latency reduction, because they are introducing MFG, which adds a lot of latency, since instead of predicting 2 frames, you are now predicting 4 frames, and latency increases a lot, so they use Reflex 2 to kind of mitigate that difference that we have increased. But yeah, safe to say that 5090 will be 2,500 euros where we live. Yeah, definitely 2,500 euros. Definitely. Time for AMD to throw the towel. It all comes to pricing. If AMD really releases the 9070 at, let's say, $400, it will still sell. It will still sell, definitely. Because if the 5070 is like, let's say, 20 to 30%, as we saw, better in terms of ray tracing performance and in terms of rasterization than the 4070, it means that it is still slower or very equal to the 7900 XT, which is basically the 9070 performance. So 9070 will perform the same way, the 9070 XT will perform the same way as the 5070. So it all comes to pricing. If the 5070 costs, let's say, $549 and the 9070 costs $399, and if FSR4 is good, then AMD will still sell. But otherwise, people will just get the 5090. People will just get the 5070, hands down. And that's an easy choice because they have way more features. The power draw will also be nice, I believe. And yeah, AMD is in a very rough space right now, in a very tough space. So, genuine question. Is the claim that the 5070 equals 4090 bullshit or true? Yeah, it equals 4090 with MFG, basically 4 times frame generation. So it isn't real frames. In terms of real performance, it is like 20 to 30% faster, as we saw in the charts before. So going back to the charts, Again, let me just see here. We were there before, I guess. What's happening here? Products. GeForce graphics cards, yes. So in terms of performance, if we go here, for example, the 5070, if we go in terms of performance compared, in terms of Far Cry, which is very light ray tracing, or Plague Tale Requiem, you can see that the difference is small. Let's say 30-40% tops, which is the real performance, I believe. This is the real performance. So yeah, but the big performance numbers that we see here is definitely due to MFG, which is using 4 times mode, and that's why we have more FPS. We have more FPS because we are frame generating more FPS. It is what it is. 20 or 30% faster than the 4070, exactly. Unless they'll price their 9070 XT to $450. I believe that they need to price it to $399. Otherwise, they won't really sell. But I mean, if they're doing it at $399, they might be selling it at loss. So that's tough. That's tough. When it's coming out, yeah. And on top of that, it is also coming out before the AMD cards, I believe, because these cards, the 5070, 5070 Ti, 5080, and 5090 as well, yes, will be available in January, while the AMD cards will be like Q1, and Q1 can be January, February, or March. And usually we know that when we say Q1, it isn't because, yeah, it isn't because we're gonna release it next week. It is because, yeah, we will take more time. Should I sell my 7900 XT for a 5070? No. In terms of raster and normal ray tracing, it would be more or less the same. Unless you can sell your 7900 XT for the price that you will pay for the 5070, yeah, big no. And guys, you can still use lossless scaling if you want to generate more frames as well. You can just go buy lossless scaling here and use 4 times the frame generation as well, and you are going to the same frames that NVIDIA has. The only difference here in frame generation on lossless scaling is really the latency and the quality. And if NVIDIA just makes it better in terms of latency and quality, yeah, that will be a big thing. If, again. Did they say all cards available in January? Yes, they showed all the cards and then they said available in January, so I guess that's it. Yeah, even if we're talking about 23%, of course that the euro is a little bit more valuable than the than the dollar. But even if we go directly, we would be talking about, let's say, if we're talking about 549, my bad, 1.23, for example, in Portugal is 23% VAT, it will cost 675 euros here, which is crazy. As for the other one, 749 or something, or 59, don't really care, 1.23, and it would cost 900 euros, which is basically the same that it did before. So we have better cards at the same pricing. And as for 999, again, if we go to 1.23, 1200 euros. Nothing new really. I paid 1100 euros for the 7900 XT, 1150 euros I believe for the XTX when I bought it. So yeah. So where does the 7900 XTX in all of his as current AMD, I don't really understand the question. So where does the 7900 XTX in all of this as the current AMD flagship? I believe that I know what you're saying now. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It is like above the 5070 and below the 5070 Ti, I would assume, in terms of rasterization, but everything that comes with ray tracing, it is just completely blown away, definitely. So what 50 series is comparable to the 4080 Super now? possibly the 5070 Ti in most cases, but if of course you are using new technologies like the MFG, it is much better. If you are using the 4x frame generation, which is only for single player games, again, the 5070 can go to the 4090 level. But again, it all comes to the quality and latency of the frame generation. In terms, for example, of latency, currently RTX 4000 series have way less latency than AMD frame generation, or at least a bit less, but they produce way less FPS as well, especially in the lower tier cards. So generally AMD frame generation is better. But now with the DLSS 4, things change since they have AI integrated in the shader engine as well, and many things change. So I believe that the latency can be further reduced, especially with the DLSS 4, even with MFG, and we have Reflex 2. So yeah, I believe that they can do something really interesting here. Not even with, yeah, the DLSS 4 and the DLSS 4 with MFG. So yeah. And well, guys, I guess I'm just gonna end the live stream because I have to sleep. Any questions that you have, just leave them. If you want to support the channel, don't forget, hit like, subscribe, and share the video. And by the way, if you want to donate anything, just do it. Don't donate any money, not even a euro or a dollar, that you can't afford. If you have money left and you want to help the channel, great. If you don't, just help the channel by watching the video, by sharing the video. It already helps a lot. 5080 is faster than the 4090. In terms of rasterization, possibly really close. In terms of ray tracing, better, I would assume. Yeah, you guys still have a good card, 4080 Super. Why do you guys always feel the need to be like, oh, well, do I still have a good card? Do I need to sell my card? Man, you have a great card. Just enjoy it. If you feel like you need a better one, just start searching and get a better one. But if the card suffices to your needs, why do you feel like you have to change just because newer GPUs are coming out? And yeah, the real loser here is basically Intel, because AMD will still sell their GPUs, especially if they price it correctly. They are selling CPUs like hotcakes, and yeah, NVIDIA is going for the top tier NVIDIA GPUs, top tier GPUs, that also AMD still has the mid to low tier market in terms of GPUs this generation, I believe, and at least in terms of price performance, I would say. And Intel won't really have a spot there, I guess. So Intel is really doomed. If they are already losing money at $250 MSRP, things will get really, really rough in that scenario. Ancient Gameplays tested Resident Evil 4 Remake at 30 FPS and lossless scaling frame generation two times, and less artifacting than frame generation 1. So if lossless scaling frame generation 3 improves further, that would be great, and it does improve further. Better quality, better performance, so it's a win-win situation. And I mean, it's 30 FPS, and 30 FPS sucks. If you are going at least for 60 FPS, you'll have way better quality. '50 series is actually looking incredibly weak. No, again, if we're talking about 20 to 30 something percent increase without the DLSS frame generation, it's actually a good increase, especially since the package, so the GPU cooler is smaller, and at the same time we should have lower power draw in theory. But yeah. Ancient Gameplays, what do you think about Battle Mage driver overhead? Yeah, it's there. It always been there. It was there with Alchemist, the first Intel GPUs, and it is still there with Battle Mage. It is more pronounced with lower end CPUs and in some other games. It depends. But yeah, it's not that great. But it is still there. It was there before. It is there now. I mean, they need to fix it. Lossless scaling frame generation 2 was a big improvement over the lossless scaling frame generation 1. Definitely. But yeah, much better. The 3 is much better as well. 50 series is incredibly reliant on the new frame generation. Yes, they are. It's basically all and everything about AI. But at the same time, in terms of real power, in real world power, they have an increase, at least according to AMD, according to NVIDIA's data, they have still, let's say, at least from 15 to 30 something percent, depending on the scenario, increase over the previous generation, with the 5090 having the biggest boost. And yes, wait for benchmarks. And by the way, don't believe them. Them who? Them who exactly? Probably no DLSS 4 for the old cards. That's exactly it. The DLSS 4 will be only for the new NVIDIA GPUs. So when I saw some data before the keynote, I knew, and I told myself, yeah, RTX 50 series will be it for the DLSS 4. The DLSS 4 won't work on the previous generation, and yeah, I was exactly right about it. And it has been everything about AI. That's crazy. AI. And the benchmarks are just on NVIDIA's website. Just like FSR4. Yeah, but FSR4 will most likely be working on the previous generations as well. In some time, especially now that NVIDIA released this, showing how they are doing great on the GPU side. AMD needs to get some advantage there, and they will most likely bring FSR4 to the older generations. FSR4 is only for the 9000 series so far, but AMD has stated that they are still working in the performance to see if it is worth bringing it to the previous generations as well, at least to RDNA 3, and I'm pretty sure that they will. Now guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna end the live stream. I need to, well, to rest a bit. Thank you very much for watching. Again, and just now that you're watching, let's watch GVG Mall so that that we can pay the bills. Let's just watch it, and then I will end the live stream. Let's go.
Today's video sponsor is GVG Mall, bringing you lots of software deals like Windows 10, Windows 11, Office 2019 or 2021 with a new Windows 11 design. And for all of these, you can use my SKG discount code for 30% off, getting a Windows 11 serial key for $22 and a Windows 10 one for only $15. Then use the key on your Windows settings and you'll have an activated system.
It's actually funny, since I installed Windows recently. I'm actually doing a pre-add for GVG Mall that has keys, and this computer doesn't have an activated key. I actually have to activate it. I changed the computers from one side to the other. The last one I activated the key, but this one needs a new one. So yeah, Windows 12. Thank you very much guys for watching. See you in the next video, and I will just release a short kind of a resume of this live stream on a video format for you guys to see the benchmarks, everything that you need to see actually. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video guys. Cheers. End stream. $50, Jesus Christ. I was going to end the stream, but I mean, $50, this deserves J. Perauca, this deserves definitely a stop and a big thank you. Thanks for the stream. Hope you feel better. Thank you very much for the donation. Hope that money, hope really that the money won't be missed. If you need the money, just let me know. I'll send it back. Thank you very much again, and see you in the next video, guys. Cheers. And by the way,